I feel like there's one more thing we could talk about Spider-Man wise.
Before closing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
That Into the Spider-Verse was really good. Like, it's amazing. Like how you said that Spider-Man 3 doesn't hold up, and how the Amazing Spider-Man films were, You look at a game like Spider-Man PS4 and how people are like, oh, this is a video game. No, it's not. The storytelling was so driven and so well by Brian Intitar and Insomniac that they understood the character of Spider-Man. The thing that Marvel did was, Marvel Studios for the MCU, they put Spider-Man as a high schooler. And, like, we've already seen that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Tom Holland plays Spider-Man perfectly to a T. He's perfectly cast. But Yuri Lowenthal brings emotion to the role as a voice actor. And as someone who's trying to be a voice actor, it really told me that there's a step in the right direction, and if you want to do this, you can do this. Because this Spider-Man was 23, this Spider-Man was one of us, we're all in college, and you actually felt what he was going through.
Yeah. He's living on his own, he pays rent. He's already been through it all, it's a new adventure for him.
That's really kind of interesting you brought up, like, this is a 20-something-year-old Spider-Man. I think this is something a lot of his fans can relate to, because, a lot of us in our 20s, and, we're dealing with some of the same things. Like, we're getting out of college, we're trying to figure out what's the next step in our lives. So it's really interesting you brought that up, because it just goes to show you that no matter what age you put him in, Spider-Man will always be relatable. Even into the Spider-Verse movie, we have the middle-aged Peter Parker, and I'm pretty sure this is something that older comic book fans can relate to. I'm going through these same things. So it doesn't really matter, how old the character is. Spider-Man will always relate to somebody.
I just love the fact how in Spider-Man PS4 that everyone's like, oh yeah, this is just another Spider-Man game. You play a mission where you get evicted from your apartment, so it has real-life implications.
Yeah, love it. I think Spider-Man PS4 was my favorite game of the year. Arguably, maybe not.
And then just playing the story and stuff, how the characters really, you invest in them. Instead of a 2-hour movie, it plays like a Netflix show like Daredevil, where it takes the storytelling and pacing of Daredevil, it takes the heart of Tom Holland, it takes the goofiness of Andrew Garfield, and it takes the Spider-Man-esque of Tobey Maguire, and it's an amalgam, and it combines all elements of it and stuff. And it really just reinforces Spider-Man PS4. It's like, okay, here's Spider-Man PS4. And then, spoiler, when you're fighting Otto and stuff, it's basically a mixture of the first 2 Spider-Man films and Amazing Spider-Man 1, where you're on top of Oscorp Tower. He breaks your mask like Spider-Man 1, and you're fighting Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I never thought about that. That was actually really insightful.
Who's the best Peter Parker? Including the game.
Tom Holland. I think Tom Holland's a really good Peter.
Nah, Spider-Man PS4.
You know what? I'm gonna go on a limb and say something. I'm gonna say it. Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 2.
I thought you were gonna say Andrew Garfield.
Shut up, Drew.
He was a good Spider-Man.
Go on a limb. I'm like, okay, he's gonna have a very crazy comment.
No, because the thing is, because you know how it's the popular opinion right now. It's friggin' Tobey Maguire Spider-Man has aged well. I'll give you the first Spider-Man movie and Spider-Man 3, but I think the reason why for me, I think the reason why Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man 2 is still the best on-screen live-action adaptation of Spider-Man.
Can you just say real quick?
It's because for me, it's that classic. It is classic Spider-Man because it's that.
Yeah.
You get all of because it's through that movie Peter learns the responsibility of being a hero. It really drives that with great power comes great responsibility idea better than the first movie and better than the third.
Yeah.
He gets crapped on a lot in that movie in Spider-Man 2. I mean, he loses his powers, he gets evicted, Mary Jane breaks up with him.
Mm-hmm.
And Spider-Man is always crapped on his life. That's one of the things you learn about Peter Parker and Spider-Man is being Peter Parker is not easy because when he's Spider-Man, it takes a toll on the life of Peter Parker, and I think Spider-Man 2 and Into the Spider-Verse reflect that the best, in my opinion.
And he's been through a lot too, losing his uncle, sometimes losing his girlfriend, or
that's
friends dying. It's just he's been through a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's the thing about it.
I was gonna say, Peter Spider-Man can always take down the villains, always get them, throw them in jail. But the biggest challenge Peter Parker always has is life itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's realistic because you see and I think that's what makes Spider-Man and Peter Parker such a much more relatable character because you have all these other heroes and their lives just seem so perfect, And Peter Parker's just a regular guy. He doesn't have a healing factor. He doesn't have billions of dollars.
Well,
he doesn't have a suit of armor.
He does have a healing factor.
Does he?
Yeah, his spider healing.
Spider healing.
It's not like super healing, but it's like it. He's able to self heal. That's why, like in Infinity War, it took him the longest to die because of his spider. His spider healing. I'm referring to more of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man because there was a line in there that Harry Osborn said where he was like, he's able to self-heal or whatever. You know what I mean? So
he's like,
are you confusing Spider-Man, Kobe? Jesus.
Yeah.
It's like, I need Spider-Man's blood.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't.
I was referring to that. I was thinking maybe Spider-Man had self-healing, whatever. Not like Wolverine self-healing, but just like, like if he had like look at
his body's stronger,
wound
right?
or something. Yeah, just something like that, Not like Wolverine's, but like just, something small.
I just think it's cool, though, in Spider-Man PS4, getting back to it, because I love that game. Playing the story last night.
I'm
playing the story 2 days ago. I just beat it on New Game Plus. And it's like...
Wait, what suit did you beat it with?
With the advanced suit. I can't...
Well, besides, like, obviously you get the advanced suit at the end. Like, besides that, what did you use?
Oh, you only use the advanced suit?
I kept using the Tom Holland suit. I used the Into the Spider-Verse suit. I used the Sam Raimi suit.
Wait, what's Into the Spider-Verse suit?
It's the Into
the one from the movie, the one that Peter Parker has in Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Oh, that one. Oh, okay. I didn't know that was a thing in there. Okay.
Stuff. You just feel for the character of Peter Parker. I mean,
it makes you feel like you are him.
Yeah, but not only that. When you're fighting Otto and stuff, and he rips your mask off, and he's like, Parker, and he goes, "You knew," and he goes, "I won't let you win," and he goes, "This means so much to me." And Peter's like, "Not as much as it means to me." And like, you really feel, because like Peter knows he's on a limited time amount, and everything he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get the antidote back to GR27 for Devil's Breath," and in the end, he still loses Aunt May because he knows he can't trade one life for others.
The fact that she knew he was Spider-Man also was insane.
Yeah, but to be fair, I feel like at some point Aunt May would have figured out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
And
like, come on,
and build a spider cave like an Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she builds a spider cave, and she's making robot shooters.
That was insane. I love that part. But I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta take that leap of faith.
Oh, it is. It's a leap of faith.
I find it interesting how you brought up the relationship between Spider-Man and Otto, because I think that's something that really works about that game, is that you grow and you develop with the relationship between Peter Parker and Otto Octavius. So, like, when he does become Doc Ock, so to speak, it feels like you know it's coming. Like, when during the cutscene, when you know that he's making that transition from Otto Octavius to Doc Ock, you feel it. You're just like, "No, Otto, don't do this. Please. Yeah. We know how this turns out. It's not going to end well."
Yeah, that's like my brother said to me and stuff. He goes, "Oh, come on. You know he's going to turn into Doc Ock." But then, like, Brian Itzatar, like, when he heard fans talking about that, then he does a 360. So, like, there's scenes in that game where, like, oh, yeah, he's turning into Doc Ock and stuff. So you look at that fight where he goes, "No, you're wrong. You were everything I wanted to be. Your mind, your conscience." But then you look at that other scene where Doc Ock is like, "Peter, I know I don't have a lot of money to support you, but if you want, you can find another job." And Peter's like, "No, I'm here to work for you." So everything just correlates back to each other. Mm-hmm. It just correlates back to each other.
Spider-Man PS4 is great, because I feel like, because I think, also, I just want to, can we just talk about how, out of all of, like, the villains, out of all, like, when it comes to super villains, Doc Ock always seems to have great adaptations. Like, I can't think of a crappy Doc Ock interpretation.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that.
Like all the cartoons, there has been.
Yeah, all the cartoons, Spider-Man 2, PS4 Spider-Man had a really great Doc Ock. Into the Spider-Verse had a great Doc Ock.
Even that one was good, yeah.
Well, I mean, the fact that Into the Spider-Verse Doc Ock was a female too, was really good. Also, like
that was actually a really nice twist.
Yeah, especially
Nice one thing. I just saw this on Facebook. Is this true? That Marvel finally got the rights back to Fox?
Well, they're in the process of finalizing the deal. We don't know if the deal has been finalized or if the deal has been finalized now as soon as we're talking. But I'm not sure.
Yeah,
that's actually something I want to talk about for, if that is the case, it's actually something I want to talk about for like the next official podcast. I really want to discuss like what that means, like what there's more, because I feel like there's more to that, that purchase than just the X-Men and Fantastic Four going to the MCU. There's more, there's so much more to that deal than just,
I mean, look at the comics. They're in the comics. They all fight together, and it's very curious to see what they're gonna do. You know,
because that really irritated it and turned me a different way when you had Comcast throwing their hat in the ring for that, and it just was like, what? No, what is Comcast gonna do with these characters? No.
Do we want to talk about anything else, or what do you think, Drew? Should we wrap things up?
Anything else you guys want to talk about? Spider-Man related?
Venom was garbage.
Wait, what? Whoa. You did not just say that. You better take that back. Venom was not garbage. You take that back right now. Take that back right now. Venom was not garbage.
What's the Spanish word for garbage?
I won't, like...
Venom was really... I enjoyed Venom. I thought that was good.
Drew, that would be basura.
Venom was basura. Venom is...
I can't believe you just said that.
You can't say Venom.
Drew, what did you think of Venom?
I'm trying to say...
I liked Venom.
Venom is... It's like a tongue twister. Venom is... Venom es basura.
Don't strain yourself.
Venom es basura.
Venom es basura.
Venom es basura.
I mean, I didn't hate Venom. I thought it was painfully average, and there could have been so much more to it.
You guys are nuts.
That's how I kind of thought about it too. Is like, you know what, this isn't like, I don't think it's garbage, and it's definitely not Catwoman level bad, as like one tweet called it. But it's just
Catwoman bad.
This is like so painfully average. Like, you could have done so much more with this, because Venom is one of those characters. Like, you know, he's not a good guy, but nowadays he's not really much of a bad guy anymore.
Okay, but you gotta say it was a lot better than Spider-Man 3 Venom.
It was, but that's
without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
But that's kind of the thing for me, is like, you know, with, you know, if it's, you have a movie all about Venom, and you could have really done something out of the box. Like, you could have like done a movie that really delves into the psyche of Eddie Brock and how this thing living in him, Venom, is affecting him mentally and physically. And, you know, if you ask me, with an R rating, you could really do some. You could really go into some dark territory, but they chose not to, and they made something super generic instead.
It looks
they could do it for the sequel. They could make it for the sequel.
They could, because Venom 2 is in development.
Yeah, and I mean, with Carnage coming to it, I think it should have an R rating.
It's a better script.
It can't be R rated because
get ready to be disappointed, because they've already confirmed.
Well, I mean, we don't know.
Venom 2, they've already confirmed that Venom 2 will probably be PG-13.
They're looking for money. Venom 1 made a ton of money in the box
office. There's always
office.
second change. There's always like other. There's always like a change of mind. You know, like
that's probably a reason why they decided to go with PG-13 in the first place, like what Drew was saying, because this one made like, how much did it make, Drew?
It made a lot of money.
I don't know how much it made. I forget exactly how much. At least $300 million, I think. Probably more.
It made like about $800 million.
I think it broke a record.
Yeah. But yeah, they're going to want to play it safe for Venom 2, so they're going to make it PG-13, because that's a safe way to guarantee that you'll get at least most of that money back. Like, if it doesn't make $800 million, it makes $700 million.
An encyclopedia, because I said $852 million. It was $855.2.
Ooh, that was close.
Yeah, I mean, with that,
that's probably the reason why
they're going to go safe.
Yeah, that's probably the reason why they decided to go PG-13 with this one, because they weren't sure if they went R rating, and they weren't sure if they went rated R, they wouldn't make the money. And on top of the negative reviews, I feel like they were concerned, so maybe they went with a PG-13. And they were also able to take advantage of the fact that there wasn't really much else out in October.
Yeah, especially for like that type of genre.
Yeah, like take for example, like a movie like this December, like December was packed. Like, you had Aquaman, you had Bumblebee, you had Mary Poppins, and there was bound to be something that was going to fall on the wayside. Unfortunately, it's Bumblebee.
Oh, that's because I was Welcome to Marwen.
Yeah, but I have not heard good things of Welcome to Marwen, though.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. I wanted that to be good.
I actually wanted to see Into the Marwen.
I mean, see if you want. Just sit. But I think... Because I think, trying to rope this back into Spider-Man, I think the thing, what didn't work for me for Venom was that I'm one of those purists, man. I'm one of those comic book purists, and that, I gotta have.
You want everything to be perfect and have that.
Well, it's not that I want everything to be perfect. It's like I just want that. I just want that connection, man.
Yeah, you want, like, while you're reading the comics, you want it to be like, okay, I remember this. Like, this is relatable or accurate,
Like, I just want a great Spider-Man Venom story, and I feel like we just got cheated out of it.
I mean, it could still happen.
I don't think so.
I mean, Riot was probably one of the worst villains I saw this year.
Riot is the worst.
You guys think
friggin'
so?
Villain. Yes, Riot was the most boring, uninteresting villain in comic book history since, like, Malekith and Thor: The Dark World. I am sorry. Like, I understand they wanted to save Carnage for a sequel, but Riot was just terrible. Riot was terrible. Like in the year of Eric Killmonger and Thanos and Ocean Master, this is just a disappointment.
What?
No,
I thought
the continuity.
In my opinion, I thought Riot was cool.
The continuity of his character made no sense either. Like, the symbiotic has to, consume its, host and everything like that. But then they have a scene where, he takes over this lady in some other country, and then 6 months go by, and he's still in that same body.
Well, that's just because he's just trying to move around. He's trying to move. He's trying to find
the bodies die though, and then they're supposed to die after most of them, at least from the other ones, have died within a week, and he's staying this.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they did. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said that the body died.
That's another thing too. Like, they kind of jumble up the rules for the symbiote, because they died, and now all of a sudden this person's okay with the symbiote, and that person's okay with the symbiote.
And then how did
in the movie,
which
they describe how the venom was killing them inside, all kinda.
Yeah. Which, mind you, this is not how the symbiote's supposed to work, but okay.
No, not at all.
It's not how the symbiote works.
Well, I think. Well, obviously, Venom's not going to kill Eddie, because
I mean, he did say that unless he finds food, his liver's looking pretty tasty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense because imagine that happens to you in real life. You need to feed your symbiote in order for it to function properly. It's a part of you.
It's like a Tamagotchi.
Like it's.
Symbiote's a Tamagotchi.
Oh, we didn't make that analogy. But what I'm saying? It's a part of you. You know what I mean? If it's gonna, something bad is gonna happen if you don't properly
Always waiting on my wife.
What did we find out? Yeah. What if the Venom movie was really it started life as a Tamagotchi movie, but they weren't they weren't sure it was gonna make money, so they decided to make Venom instead of a Tamagotchi movie.
The true sequel to the Emoji Movie.
Please don't say that. Oh my god, I hate you all.
Spider-Man. What would you say would be, since we're on the topic of Spider-Man, because they did say, because after the success of Venom, there are rumors going around that Sony potentially just want to extend their contract with Marvel for another couple of years, because they feel maybe this relationship is good. We're making money with these movies, and Spider-Man's making money with Marvel, so it's let's extend the contract for a little bit.
I think me and Rooney had this conversation. We're Venom is Sony, right? Well, so is Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. We thought Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man might be, perfect for, maybe, him meeting up with Venom or whatever, or fighting him or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they're both in Sony, I feel like that'd be. I think that just to try it or just see what it might look like, I thought that might be pretty cool.
Isn't Garfield?
I think for me,
40, though?
Yeah, like Andrew
That's
Garfield's kind of getting up there in age at this point.
Happen.
Well, I mean, obviously you're not gonna use Tom Holland Spider-Man. His is too like, I don't know what you would call it, but like, I just feel like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man would be a lot better for like him and Venom or whatever.
I think personally, like the way they're going to go direction wise is that they're going to continue doing these Venom movies because Tom Hardy did say he signed up for 3 films, and they're going to continue with the animated Spider-Man films. So I think this is where their strong point is. They think they've realized their strong suit, and we're going to keep seeing these animated Spider-Man films because they've already confirmed Into Spider-Verse 2 and a Spider-Gwen movie.
Well, speaking of like the anime, like what's your favorite from cartoons? What's your favorite Spider-Man cartoon?
90s.
What Rooney said, the 90s one.
Well, yeah, those are good. I mean, like my favorite, honestly, like don't hate me, but like I love the Drake Bell one. Like I thought that was really good. Like he played a really good Spider-Man, and like
I'll give you that
the
one.
Drake Bell superhero.
Yeah. No. Oh God, no. No, when he
Drake
voiced
Bell
Spider-Man.
Voiced Spider-Man in a cartoon called Ultimate Spider-Man. It was actually pretty good.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice because, like, at first it was about him, but then they started to steer in the direction of him having, like, a team, kind of like his own Avengers, kind of, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, he was a really good Peter Parker in Spider-Man and whatnot. And it has moments of, comedy.
Now, this is something I want to ask all 3 of you. I'm just going to go to the 3 of you. With the success of Into the Spider-Verse, and people really like Miles Morales in Into the Spider-Verse, and people really seem to like Miles Morales in the PS4 game, do you think Marvel Studios is going to at some point incorporate Miles Morales into the MCU? I'm going to go with Kobe.
I feel like they should, because we've seen him in cartoons. And, we've seen him in his own movie now, and we've seen him in the game. I feel like adding him as a live action would be really interesting and really cool. Now, the question is, who do we get to play him? That's
before we stay on that thought.
No, I know. I'm like, that was kind of.
Like, do you think we're going to see? Do you think Marvel? Do you think they will incorporate Miles Morales into the MCU at some point?
I mean, Kevin Feige has stated that Phase 4 is going to have more diversity, so
that's a good point. That is a good point. We could one of those movies could possibly be like, we could have a 3rd or 4th Spider-Man movie where they bring in Miles Morales. That could be an idea.
Yeah.
And Childish Gambino was Aaron Davis, and he did say my nephew lives in this area.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He did say that. I remember that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like. They're already planting the seeds.
But the way they described it, though, it seems like Miles Morales is going to be a young kid.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have a young actor.
It would take a while to build. I know that Marvel wanted Peter Parker to be like a coming-of-age, growing-up kind of Spider-Man.
Which we don't need.
Yeah, we've already seen that plenty of times.
And I'm saying, I don't think they would do that twice in a row with Miles Morales. So
I think what they say, like, I think what they're going to do, for me personally, like, I think they're going to, like, because they could say that, he could say that, but we could find it in a way where, because they have toyed with the idea of Miles being younger when he gets his spider powers. Or they could do a thing where, like, Miles is like a college student and then he gets a spider power. He doesn't have to be a young person when he gets a spider power.
Well, I mean, it is a different, it's still, even if they do go in that direction, it still is a different story, because it's not Peter Parker, it's Miles Morales, and he is young, he's a kid. So, I mean, we really haven't seen that side of Miles yet when he's seen it when he's a kid.
But we have, though. Because, would be interesting if we see him a little older. What do you think, Rooney?
Well,
no,
where have we seen him as an adult? I'm trying to, figure that out.
No, we haven't seen him much as an adult yet.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think for, Marvel.
What if they do Spider-Man with Tom Holland, but he's in, college and stuff?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And his roommate's Miles Morales.
Ooh, I like that.
I feel like it shouldn't be roommate. It should be more just friends that know each other. Because I feel like that's pushing the boundaries a little too much, maybe.
No, I like that idea. Like, Peter Parker's in college and his roommate is Miles Morales. I really like that idea. Rooney, we're going to campaign for you to write that, for you to get a job at Marvel Studios and write that.
Dude, I'd be so down.
I feel like they should do it like how Spider-Man PS4 did it. Peter Parker's an adult, Miles Morales is the high school student. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but you can't do that with Tom Holland though, because Tom Holland's already 50. He's like in high school, so that's what you do.
But I mean, like again, I do like the Spider-Man PS4 one because Peter Parker is training him. He's the one like showing him the ropes of how to be Spider-Man.
You also don't want to retell story.
Yeah, you don't.
Oh, I know that.
What do you think, Drew? Do you like our idea?
Yeah, I think it would be great if Miles Morales was in the MCU, and I think we're going to get another Spider-Man, but I don't think it's going to be Miles Morales, just because I feel like Sony's going to want to keep doing their own thing with Miles Morales with the Into the Spider-Verse trilogy and everything that they're doing with it. Mm-hmm. I think even though Spider-Gwen's in Into the Spider-Verse, I think it would actually have a better chance of seeing Spider-Gwen in the MCU than Miles Morales.
Honestly,
how about this? How about this? Instead of Miles Morales, they want to bring in new Spider-Man. It's not Miles Morales, but they reboot Ben Reilly. Like, forget the fact that Ben Reilly is a clone, make him an all-new character, and that's how they introduce new Spider-Man. He's Ben Reilly.
I wouldn't mind having a live-action Spider-Gwen.
Like a Scarlet Spider? Live-action Scarlet Spider?
No, well, but it's Spider-Gwen, though. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Bernie, what do you think? Live-action Scarlet Spider?
No, I really like that idea. I really like that idea.
Scarlet Spider or Spider-Gwen? Which one?
No, Scarlet Spider.
Scarlet Spider. Loved Ben Reilly when I was a kid.
And he doesn't even have to be like, how it is in the comics, like he's a clone or whatever.
Wait.
Like, they could always reboot the story.
Are they two different people or the same? Spider-Gwen?
Yeah, they're two different. Yeah, Spider-Gwen and Scarlet Spider.
I thought you were saying like Scarlet Spider with the same person.
No. Scarlet Spider is Ben Reilly. In the comics, he's a clone of Peter Parker.
Oh, that one! I thought Scarlet Spider. You're saying Scarlet Spider was another female Spider-Man.
No, Scarlet Spider. He's a clone of Peter Parker.
Oh yeah.
What they could do for the movie is that they can just forget the fact that he's a clone. He's a brand new character.
Could they incorporate something like he gets part of Peter Parker's DNA, and that's how he gets the Spider-Man genes?
Sure.
I like that idea.
Kind of like a Vision thing, where they kind of have the base for Vision. It was going to be Ultron, but then Vision got there first, or something like that. Like, just mix the DNAs and everything like that.
Yeah.
I want to say one cool
I don't know much about
that is when Tony Stark sold Stark Tower, either have the Fantastic Four remake it into the Baxter Building, or have Norman Osborn make it Oscorp.
I feel like realistically, it would be Norman Osborn as Oscorp. Realistically, because do you really see them making a new Fantastic Four movie?
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because they want to incorporate things like Doctor Doom and Galactus and the Silver Surfer.
The Skrulls too.
Perfect for the MCU right now.
The Super Skrulls.
Oh yeah, because like the friggin' we need because that's the main reason why I want the Fantastic Four back, because Doctor Doom in the MCU would be like the best thing ever.
Oh my god, because they didn't. So like, if you ever played Ultimate Alliance, Doctor Doom was one of the main villains.
He was the main antagonist. Like, he had a plan that basically like saw him take control of Asgard and Odin and gain access to Odin's powers, and he took over the world. That's how dangerous Doctor Doom is.
For a guy with just like weird powers, he's really strong. Like he's almost like immortal basically.
It's one of the things.
It's his intellect.
Yeah.
Was that Noah Hawley? Noah Hawley, the guy who writes. Noah Hawley, the guy who does Legion, which I love Legion. He was supposed to write a Doctor Doom film, and now he's not even doing that.
Yeah. Oh, I think with this Fox purchase, I feel like that's the definite opportunity to bring in these types of characters, and that could be like the introduction of them. Like, since the Avengers have moved out of the Baxter, what is pretty much the Baxter building. Yeah, like, they could move in. Like, Reed Richards could move in or whatever.
Yeah. I would love to see a new Avengers movie, and see Avengers. What I mean, Fantastic Four, and see what they would do.
I want the Fantastic Four What's up?
I was gonna say, if they bring back Fantastic Four, I don't think they should start with a movie, because I don't think we don't need another origin story of Fantastic Four. We already had 2 of them. They were both.
It doesn't have to be an origin story.
Yeah,
it can literally be a Fantastic Four movie where we already know what happened. You know, like they already have their powers. You know, they're going
I'm saying introduce them into another like maybe another Avengers movie where Doctor Doom's a villain and have the Fantastic Four already be developed, and then make a Fantastic Four movie after that. Like
an end credit scene, kind of like
they're
an interval, like Doctor Doom is a villain for an Avengers movie, and then Fantastic Four, it doubles as an Avengers movie and a Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, and Fantastic Four's already developed.
I mean, I'm also curious because the Thing, right? I think he's also a Guardian, right, in the comic.
He was at one point.
Yeah, so I mean, it'd be interesting to see him in that. You know what I mean? If they put him in.
Yeah, why not? The opportunities are limitless.
You know, I'm very curious to see what they're gonna do for Nova.
I would love for them to make a Nova movie.
That would be very because I think don't him and Captain Marvel have relation to each other.
I think Nova is significantly younger than Captain Marvel, so no.
He's not like a relationship, but
they're close.
Or I think it's him and the Guardian. He's a Guardian, right?
I think he joined the Guardians at one point. Rooney, is that true? You keep up with comics more than I do.
Richard Rider, his father was part of the Nova Corps, and he did join the Guardians at a time.
Okay.
Going back to Spider-Man real quick, what was your guys' favorite Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, this is a Spider-Man podcast. I forgot. What was your question?
What was your guys' favorite Spider-Man game of all time? You enjoyed playing?
Spider-Man PS4.
Besides that, I'm talking about all the other ones.
Spider-Man PS4.
Spider-Man PS4.
Oh my God. Well, before PS4, my favorite one was what was it?
Web of Shadows. You told me that.
Yeah, Web of Shadows. Yeah, thank you. Web of Shadows was my favorite one.
My favorite was actually Ultimate Spider-Man.
Is that the one with
I just like the style of it.
Yeah. That one is good.
This super comic book one where you could also switch, you could also play as Venom.
Mm-hmm.
Drew, what was your favorite Spider-Man game before Spider-Man PS4?
I was just I was thinking of Ultimate Spider-Man. I also have a soft spot for Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah, that was a classic with me and my cousins. We played that one a lot. How about you, Rooney, Mr. Runmeister?
Spider-Man PS4.
Oh.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Honestly, I thought he was gonna say Shattered Dimensions or something.
I like Shattered Dimensions.
No, it's Spider-Man PS4. That's it.
Which one was the one with 2099 and Spider-Man? That was
Shattered Dimensions?
No, it was the next one after that. It was Time something.
Edge of Time.
Edge of Time, yeah. I didn't play that one, but I heard good things about it.
It was alright. You find out that the CEO of Alchemax is really a Peter Parker who lost his powers, and it's a dark, twisted timeline.
I heard Spider-Man actually died in that.
Yeah.
All the time. Of course, because, the logical thing for Peter Parker to do when he loses his powers is become an evil CEO.
Yeah, pretty much.
Divorces Mary Jane.
So,
Alchemax.
what do you guys think is going to happen for Endgame? Thoughts? Predictions?
What's going to happen
to keep it related to Spider-Man, I think they're going to resurrect Spider, and he's going to be great. He's going to be awesome.
Otherwise, Far From Home,
I think there's going to be a very emotional moment between him and Tony Stark because.
Oh yeah, at the end of Infinity War,
if Tony Stark does bite the bullet, it's going to be a very. I think a lot of the emotion is going to be between him and Peter Parker.
Yeah, because Tony Stark was a father figure. Peter.
Yeah,
he was very much a father figure.
He's pretty much his version of Uncle Ben.
Yeah,
and I feel like for Spider-Man: Far From Home, there's going to be callbacks to that, the death of Tony Stark.
Yeah, and even if that doesn't happen, even if he still is alive or whatever, he's probably going to have a pretty big role in Far From Home.
A bit off topic, but I still strong-heartedly believe that that Tobey Maguire should play Uncle Ben in this version.
No, he should not.
Yes,
he
should.
He's around the same age as Aunt May. And it would be such a great callback.
Uncle Ben?
It would be such a great callback.
Yeah, you don't think it'd be kind of...
No.
I would love it.
No? Be like, the old Spider-Man is now Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
No, he's Uncle Ben now.
The Flash did that, right? Did Flash do that, where they made the original Flash his father in the show?
Yeah, they did.
Like, they did. Like the guy who played Flash in like the '90s television show. He's the Jay Garrick Flash, right?
The fans love that.
He was also Henry Allen on season.
If DC can do it, Marvel can do it better.
It was also Henry Allen on season 1 of The Flash 2014 with Grant Gustin. His name's John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah, that's I saw him at
Comic-Con. But he's like supposed to. But he's supposed to be like the Jay Garrick Flash, though, right?
On Earth 3.
Okay, that's cool. I remember like there was an episode of like Young Justice where like there's 3 different eras of Flash sitting together having dinner. You got the Jay Garrick, you got Barry Allen, you got Wally West.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
It's so cool.
I like how they're running and stuff, and when Wally West bites the bullet at the end of season 2, Jay Garrick's running along with Barry, and he's like, I can't keep up, and Barry's like, Wally, no, don't.
What do you get? So, going off topic a little bit, also, what do you get? How do you guys feel if they brought back Static Shock in any way, shape, or form?
They did incorporate Static into
he wasn't
Justice.
young. Yeah, but I'm saying like kind of bring him back. Like maybe
Black Lightning's on season 3, and so is Static Shock.
Wait, what was the
maybe like a live action Static Shock?
Yeah, actually, they're trying to do that on Black Lightning right now. There's a character who they're trying to say is going to be Virgil.
Oh, like he's going to be Static Shock. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Like I'd like to see a live action Static Shock.
So that was our special Spider-Man episode, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's Spider-Man episode. We are Kosura Media Group. I am Joseph Torres.
I am Kobe.
I am Bren versus Food.
I'm Drew.
And we will see you guys in the next episode. Take care.
Later!
See ya.
Peace.